This is our regular BET meeting for Tuesday, August 12th. Looks like everyone. Hey, Brandon. I don't think we need to do a roll call, do we? Need us to go around and,
Yeah, if you don't.
okay. Brandon, you want to start?
Brady Mertens for District 2.
Paul Foster, District 3.
Christy Miller for Treasurer's Office.
Mike Morrison, County Assessor, Brandon Hall, Sheriff's Office.
Notice of the meeting was properly posted on August 11th, 2005. On item 1, we have 2 sets of minutes, one for July 7th and one for July 8th. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion approved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 2 is our watch list. Is there anything anyone wants to add or discuss on the watch list?
I would. We did find out, I think there was some discussion on ARPA money. If you guys recall, we were under the impression that it couldn't be used for ARPA money. And Danielle sent an email and said that we could as part of the project implementation. However, it's important to ensure that all expenditures align with our guidance. So, reasonable and proportional, I believe.
Right. For example, for you guys, the whole thing was social distancing.
Yes.
And you had to change desks to configure to the right requirements for social distancing. Because that would be a requirement for social distancing, that yes, ARPA would cover that. But not like window covering, stuff like that.
Yeah. In March, in the scope of our project, the March 24th, there was a special budget board meeting where we took $400,000 out of our project and gave it to help with the PBA project for the VA. So that could have covered it. So, we found out a few weeks ago that blinds were not included in the specs or anything. So we've gone out, there's a company called Bison Blinds out of Loop. It's on state contract, and they came and looked at it, did a rough estimate. And so we would like to add, the original cost on furniture was $378 and Bison Blinds was $38. So I think our number needs to change. I'm talking with my chief deputy, Mike Sullivan, to $425, not to exceed any money. We'll say this clearly, that we do not use roof turn. If construction costs remain constant, all that, and plus the county clerk, Ms. Treat has offered us some of her furniture that she has left over. We're taking it in. We don't know. We just got an email today that they have some more. So those cost, a lot of that furniture we can use. We don't know what's in today's offer in Madam Treat's office, but we are willing to take it in. So I'm just asking that we have a not to exceed at $425. Like I said, if there's money we can turn back, we absolutely will.
Rick, is that your motion to amend the watch list for the court clerk's fifth floor furniture from $400,000 to $425? Okay.
And let me, Mr. Chairman, let me say one more thing, and don't mean to interrupt you.
No.
But we believe the project will be moved in possibly as early as January 1. So for us to order furniture is 60 days. So we just need enough lead time to order furniture in the blinds, of course, once we can come out and measure the exact things, because right now it's a rough estimate.
Would we maybe, just an idea, want to take your 425 and separate it into two items on the watch list? Possibly one that could be ARPA money with the question mark, so you can proceed down that road, and then the other amount that would be ARPA.
No ARPA.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think originally my ask was 7 million and change that was turned back because we were under the impression that you couldn't use it for anything.
Let me,
Go ahead.
I kind of like the idea of an amount not to exceed 425. The ARPA in play, now that you've got the email from Danielle, if your construction costs tend to trend or continue to trend under, I think, what the total project cost was funded at, we could kick that ARPA money over for FF&E. And then the not to exceed amount would be correct. I would anticipate that new ARPA money would not be available. So,
Understood.
yeah, so doing it the not to exceed amount, I think. And then everyone recognize if the project comes in under, I think there's, and I don't know this for certain, approximately $200,000 still available for change orders. And if we're getting near the end of the construction, we shouldn't see many more change orders.
Yeah, we haven't done the mill work yet. They're still doing gypsum.
Yeah. So, also you could help with as minimal number of change orders to keep that cost down where that money could be available too. So I would prefer to leave it as a not to exceed amount.
So
No, I'm following. I just didn't know the whole ARPA situation, if there was money to reallocate, but like he says, if there's gonna be some already in your project line item, I mean, that's fine, the 425
Okay.
line item.
Thank you.
It's cleaner that way.
I mean,
All right, I'll second Rick's motion.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second to amend the watch list for the court clerk's fifth floor furniture to a not to exceed $425,000. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. It is amended.
Mr. Chairman, if I could, I have a couple items, if I could move those to the front. I have other one to the front.
Sure.
I appreciate that.
I apologize for running late this morning. But it's something.
I appreciate everybody letting me jump up a bit.
Yeah, so we're moving to item number 6.
Item number 5.
5, and then do 6. Yes, sir.
Item number 5 is a discussion I wanted to have with the BT group, and if you would take this information back to your elected officials, I think that they will see it as a concern the same as we do, that we participated in the assessors conference last week, which is where all the assessors from the state come. We go through a tax commission conference school. One of those sessions was talking about possible future legislative changes. One of those legislative changes, we've been working through the Capitol the last couple of years. If you haven't really noticed, there's somewhat of a move or a push to eliminate ad valorem property tax. You see it in the states of Florida. You're seeing it down in the state of Texas. Statewide, that's about a $6 billion impact on the state of Oklahoma. That I don't know where the state of Oklahoma would come up with a $6 billion fill for that loss. But with that, I can tell you that many of the other counties that we talk with are not in the same financial situations that we are. They have other sales taxes that generate funds to operate their facilities and jail facilities. So many of them have reserves in place. So in our legislative conversations, many of those counties were looking to find ways to help save taxes on particularly senior citizens. Our state capital the last 2 years has had several bills in regards to ways to try to help seniors save on property taxes. There are currently measures already in place for seniors to save property taxes, but they feel that they need to move a little bit more forward. We have been in talks with an interim study group, the senators Capitol already in regards to the abolishment of ad valorem in Oklahoma. So there are concerns on both sides of that. But through our discussions, one item that came about was what can the assessors maybe look at and offer some type of a relief for senior citizens. One of those things was, of course, either freezing the value of property for senior citizens, which we could not run an impact, so we don't know how many of those individuals own property. Another one popped up was perhaps changing the homestead exemption. I'm not sure if you're familiar with what a homestead exemption is. On the average, it saves about $100, $125, $130 a year. It's a benefit that property owners have for owning and occupying their property as their primary residence. But that amount saves 1,000 assessed dollars, which is really translates about $100 in tax money. And it's been $1,000 limitation since its inception, prior to stated, really. So one of the counties brought forth a measure that they've already presented to their legislature, that they want to bring that up into today's value, which is raising it to 4 times what that. Kind of give you some ideas of what the current savings is in tax money in regards to the county's general fund, that the current homestead exemption is saving just over $1 million of ad valorem from our general fund. That's what we do not see as a result of that. So if they were to increase it to 4 times that number, you're looking at an additional $3.5 million come out of our general fund in revenues annually. So I think that it's something that I don't know if it's going to be 4 times that. I don't know if it's going to be 2 times that. I don't know if it's going to be any of that. But if I know for some of those counties that have other financial means, a $3 or $4 million loss then may not be as much as impact as it is to us. It's my understanding those counties have 10 million in reserves. So,
Well, and since we receive less than 10 cents on the dollar of those ad valorem tax dollars, it's going to be a huge hit to other entities as well.
yeah, and the way I look at it, we are currently seeing maybe 500,000 assessed increases annually. So, I mean, we're somewhere in the 2 to 5% ranges, and that's set up by the caps on the limitations on property valuation increases. So we're going to be locked into that as long as that's available. So we would almost be looking at a negative increase for next year. So we'd all be asked to do more with less if that would take place. It's something that I think each elected official needs to be aware of, and it's a concern because that impacts all the county, not just the assessor's office. So if it comes to that, I think that maybe we can relate some information to our elected officials. Maybe they can bring it to budget board, talk about it at budget board, and express their concerns. We will try to keep everybody up to date based upon the interim study we had at the Senate.
Mike, has there been any discussion with whatever county, I think you said it was a county, it's kind of pushing this, maybe looking at a phased-in approach where counties like Oklahoma County would have an opportunity that we wouldn't feel that immediate impact all at once, but maybe look at some other alternatives to at least keep our revenue stable?
Yeah, there was, because that was the first comment, was to bring it up to 4 times the base standard. And I think another county stepped back and said, well, I don't know if we could do that. We could maybe double that number, what is existing number. So like you say, it might be a step-in feature where we gradually slide into this savings measure for those particular individuals. But
What are the, as Cody mentioned, we get a dime on the dollar.
to share between all of us.
What are they, schools are the biggest impact
They are.
So what are they offering, as an incentive to the schools to not come out against this?
The schools and any entity that has debt or a sinking fund on it, the schools are really not going to be, say, impacted on that except for their ability during bond situations. We are the first number that goes into the state aid formula regarding schools. So whatever the schools don't receive locally from ad valorem, the state backfills that based upon that state aid calculation.
Right.
But just like for us or any other entity that does bond elections, it's going to limit their bonding capacities because they're not going to have the growth that they've had in the past. It may not make something drastically change on the ones that are issued, but it could have that impact based upon if there's more property owners in this certain area of the county that it impacts them more. That's something I haven't run yet to see an individual, see if it's in the, this school district may have more people in it, and as a result, it's going to make that rate increase. But and that's what our concern was to them is you got to be very careful that we may be trying to help people, but we may end up hurting the ones we're trying to help because the debt is always there and it has to be paid. And that rate is variable based upon the amount of debt and then the payments associated with it. And then, of course, if you have other bond issues on top of that, it could make that rate go up. So we're trying to save people money, but your tax bill went up.
So excluding the bonding capacity, it seems like what I'm hearing you say is while others could be impacted, just like the county, similarly with TIFs, others are impacted just like the county, but those others that are impacted have automatic other measures that step in to fund that offset that the county does not have.
They do. The only ones would not be the cities, of course, because they don't have ad valorem for general fund purposes. Judgments also come into that debt association. So if there's a judgment against the county, the city, or the school, that goes on to the property owners as well. So their rate is adjusted based upon whatever is in there as well. We pushed a program that we pushed last year through the legislature that there are already measures that the state has available to offer some tax relief to all property owners if they were to change the statutes. Right now, it's set up for seniors that are 65 and over or disabled, that if you make less than $12,000 annually, the state will give you back to $100 to $200 on credit on your state income tax. I don't know very many people that the gross household income is $12,000. So there are already measures in place. We asked to make those changes in that statute to allow more people to qualify, because last I saw in the reports, the state was sitting on a $4 billion rainy day fund. Of course, that was not a favorable option to the people of the Capitol. They felt that that's state money and that's our money. You need to do something on your end. It's your money. So it was not supported, but we will be pushing that initiative because we are seeing other states do the same thing. Their program, one of their programs that went through legislation, they felt was local property tax relief, but they modeled it after the state of Missouri.
But it's not really local state tax relief when you're doing it statewide. It's statewide tax relief. So when they talk about it's your money, well, it's just because you're looking at it from the assessment ad valorem standpoint. If you're looking at it from the individual and what the impact that it has on their household, whether it's out of their state tax return or whether it's out of their ad valorem, I don't think it really matters to any of those individuals where it comes from, the savings.
And the thing to think about too is the less value you have at the local level, the more the state aid's going to have to kick in. So state money is really, I consider that's my money, it's the state money. So I'm paying my taxes locally, but now I'm having to pay a higher income tax now to go to support the schools because we've done something to change it. So it's a problem that, and I think Larry's idea too is the most important thing is the abolishment. I mean, can we imagine if there was no ad valorem or an assessment or property tax base, that I don't know where we would have to rely on the state as a reimbursement or some type of a sales tax that would be an enormous amount to generate that type of, so statewide. But it's a concern that I think that if you would just take back your elected officials, I know Larry's gonna bring it up at budget board, maybe talk to each of you individually so that he can share his concerns. I mean, we want to do the right thing for people. But there are already measures in place that we feel. There's a homestead, there's an additional homestead, there's a senior freeze, there's a 100% DAV exemption. So just the DAVs, the exemptions alone are almost a $2 million hit to our general fund, which I love our veterans. But I don't know that the state saw those consequences when those programs were adopted. That
Weren't some of those programs supposed to be reimbursed back from the
they
state
were.
to the counties?
Additional homestead was always set up as a reimbursement. We have not been paid since 2002.
Yep, that's what I thought.
The state is under
What
the
would that
idea that,
number be if we were?
I don't
Get
know.
it in arrears
It's roughly 600,000, 700,000 a year
for
for
23 years.
everything in the county. Our part, 10%. The majority of it goes back to the schools. But the state has the impression that if the debt is not there after that 1 year, it's not paid, then we don't have a debt. So it just goes away. I don't know that my creditors feel that way, but that's the way it's set up. It's just a concern that we have, that we think that all the elected officials need to be made aware of it, so that if there are questions or concerns on their end, maybe we can address them as a group or talk about them as a group. We feel that it's going to impact the entire county, not just.
Mike, I just want to make sure I understand. So this proposal of taking the homestead exemption up to 4,000, was that for just seniors? Or
No,
is that like?
that was for across the board. Does not matter. Yeah. They did talk about the senior freeze. Right now, you have to be 65 or over, have homestead, but earn less than, I think it's 86,400 annually. That number changes annually. So we do have several senior citizens that their property value goes, so their tax bills are very consistent. They might go up or down a little bit based upon that sinking fund rate. So they're locked in on that number. But this change was across the board. It doesn't matter if you're a first-time homeowner or you've lived there for 40 years. Everybody would get that same it would accumulate to $400 tax savings.
What would be if you were to do a senior freeze for all seniors
That was discussed.
versus this hit?
Yeah, that was discussed. It's just that we do not have ages and property owners in our system to identify those property owners. There's no way of us knowing. Yeah, it'd be like me saying, who all has chocolate ice cream in their freezer today? I don't really know. Some of us do, some of us don't. And that was the problem that we felt with the previous legislation push, was there was no way for us to do an impact analysis. We didn't disagree with it. It's just, it's an unknown to us, and the state is saying it's not reimbursement, it's going to be a loss. So until we can push hard numbers and understand things better, I don't know that our office would support measures that don't have that in it. So, and that was my response to our group in the assessors conference was, I don't think that our county would support those measures without some other stable reinforcement funding that's lost. I mean, we are continually, seems like, being asked to do more with less. And one thing I stress to the legislation is, it sounds great to say don't tax something, don't tax this, or don't assess this. Well, that sounds great in the beginning, but first thing I have to do is I have to identify what that is. And depending upon what it is, it might be something that I don't know what it is today. So I have to start a whole new process. I have to make changes in my computer system. I might have to hire additional staff just so that we don't tax them.
So I'm assuming if they do this, the state will have to pay 100% of the cost of juvenile because it won't be a reimbursement anymore.
So because I've read quite a bit about this so far, the goal is to offset ad valorem with just consumption taxes of sorts.
that's what we're seeing in other states, but we don't have in our opinion, we don't have the population, or we don't have, tourism to the point that say Florida does, or the population that Texas has. I mean, it's always great to say we have, people coming here to pay taxes that we don't have to pay. I know we've grown quite a bit as a state, as a county, but we are not Miami-Dade. We're not Austin,
We
Texas.
definitely keep all of, I mean,
So,
you know what the real life is in Captain for that? I mean, any idea?
well, like I said, there was one senator that pushed,
Glad.
get
Yeah, sure,
do away with
change
it.
that.
Yeah, he pushed it, and then several people got with him, and he pulled the measure that went back to seniors was basically freezing their property tax dollar, which is very difficult, as you could imagine. And it was actually a rebate that we would give them after figuring their number. At the end of the year, we would say, what was their tax bill last year? If it was more, they get back whatever the difference was. That was a piece that we fought, and the schools were definitely against that. And the schools would help us greatly educate the individuals that did not make it. But I know it's going to come back again this year.
So the feeling with your group and those at the school, what was the overall?
The
Did you feel
overall,
like a lone person?
I did, absolutely, yeah. Because I feel that many counties do not have the population, of course, that we have here. So Homestead to them is maybe not that great of an impact on the rural communities, as you're looking at people on farms or they're rural. Whereas, we're here, we've had much more single family homes, things of that nature, so.
Well, and if the idea is to make up for it via consumption tax, which is what Brandon mentioned, Oklahoma County, the county itself, there is no consumption tax. There's no sales tax that we have here. So, I mean, we wouldn't be able to make it up through consumption.
No.
Is,
The state would not have the funds currently either to reimburse counties for the loss of that.
So do you feel like your assessor group, in trying to kind of abolish ad valorem, it's almost like, let's come up with something new to propose
That was their thought, is
to
if we,
kind of off to,
if we don't come to the Capitol with some solution, something that we can work with, then something will be decided for us. That was somewhat the idea. And like I said, Larry is always about trying to do everything we can to keep our property assessments and taxes as low as possible. I think Oklahoma ranks 42nd nationally in taxes. So we are not the highest, we're not the lowest, but of our surrounding states, I believe the only surrounding state that's lower than us is Arkansas. Texas is triple, Kansas is double. So we feel that there are measures in place that adequately do that now. If there's a way for us to do more than that, we're open to it. It's just, we don't want to be bankrupt. But it's just,
with highway funds. Similar issue with highway funds. Same thing. Rest of more with less all the time.
I just wanted we want to bring that to your attention, because I said, I'm sure Larry will be expressing his concerns to the elected officials that we brought maybe at a budget board and be discussed there, or need further action to go from there.
Okay. So all you have on 5?
That's all I have on file. Wish it was better.
Yeah. All right. I am being told that to go to item 6, we need to have a motion to reorder the agenda.
so moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so we can go on to 6. I don't know. We need to do that now. We'll figure that out. So,
Item number 6 is, Lake has provided you the sheets on regards to our complete excise board report, which shows you our final numbers for the year. These are the true numbers that we use for budgetary purposes. We're waiting on our public service to be finalized. It's here, it's finished. So this report was filed with the clerk's office as well as the state auditor's office and requirements. So this gives us everything that we need to move forward on for full budgetary purposes.
So we take this and then the clerk's office uses this to make they have their stuff in so we can see the full amount. Carrie, do you know where we are from your end? Have you guys sent this stuff to them?
Yeah.
Do you guys have yours?
Monday evening, I believe it was. And so we're actively working on that. And working with John, I know he's out, but we sent the email out before he left for the projections for employee benefits, workers' comp, and self-insurance, for all of that to be ready for you all at the next meeting.
Well,
We just need your revenue.
You just want the revenues first?
yeah,
Revenue projections, a statement of revenues first?
yeah, because we've got to have all of that before our next scheduled meeting. We're gonna need to start some special meetings here pretty quick to start discussing September stuff. Do you have an ETA on the revenue side?
I say about 2 weeks, so I can get it by maybe the first week of September. The last week of October, August.
So our regular schedule in September will be September 9th, right?
So we're looking at a special before then.
As soon as.
Yeah.
We need to as soon as we can, yeah. That week before, there's Labor Day, so that, that takes one day completely out. So hopefully we can maybe get it a little bit sooner. I'd rather start our special meetings at some point here in August. But, I mean, have you guys started anything else on your end? Because I'm sure it's kind of like your stuff and then the assessor stuff are kind of separate, and then you kind of collate both together. So have you guys
Started, yes. We started, so that's why, with the information that we just received from the assessor, I think we'll take about a week or so. And then for the next person to review it, we like to do a dual process to make sure that the totals are correct. I can give you 27th or 28th of August at the earliest. If there's any of those
I
things.
have a question? You got a look of consternation.
I always look those ways.
Joe has resting consternation.
What do we normally start our special?
The 27th, 28th, excuse me, are our hearing closed, so maybe the 26th and Monday.
Usually the first or second is the special. But
Yeah, I think normally our specials from September. First or second week of September.
We do have them during that period. We try to start it as soon as we can. Last year, it was,
I don't know if they had to run it up to the last.
if I recall, it was later than what we had preferred.
You guys have a certain cutoff point for bills from last fiscal year, right? You guys cut it off. So get your
yeah,
bills in.
but that's gonna be from the claims side
Yeah.
rather than the revenue.
But that takes time. I mean, it hadn't happened.
Because year-end close will be that last week there also.
In August,
Yes.
So
Well, I would, and I think I probably speak for the group, I would like to get started as soon as possible, but I would also not want to start so soon that we rush the situation and get bad information that's not verified and inaccurate. So
I think Blake would want me to kind of point out on the report too, that you see the amount of revenue that is going to TIF. You see the list continues to grow. We just received a request from City of Oklahoma City for 2 additional TIFs. We know that there are several already enacted, they're just not acted yet. So the concern still there is that we have significant TIF growth. That's uncaptured at the county level. And of course, all the major projects that are coming up, most of them are TIF related.
Hotel and motel.
Big giant, if that were to be, yeah, that's already been approved for TIF. The one that we just received is for Okana on the river.
but yeah. Okay. Well, since we don't know exactly when we're gonna have those numbers, let's go ahead and try to stay as flexible as possible. So if the clerk's office would, let me know when you have a really, really good idea when those will be available, and then we'll send out a notice to everybody to check availability to have special meetings. Does that work for everybody? Okay. All right.
I appreciate your stability and willingness to let me move up the scale. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Mike. All right, back to the posted order of the agenda. We'll move up to number 3. Discussion possible action regarding procedures and timing of general fund revenue supplement for FY 25-26. Christie, other than the discussion that we just had.
I think we covered it. We can just do no action.
Okay.
Do you, I'm sorry, I have a question. Do you want this to remain on or do you want me to take it off?
I think we keep it in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I think we'll have
Approval. of
our
revenue.
standard agenda items that we normally have, September supplement time. Let's make sure that we get those on for all of our next several meetings.
Starting with this one.
Yeah. Thank you. All right, item number 4, discussion possible action regarding the Oklahoma County Criminal Justice Authority budget for 25-26. This is a follow-up. At our last meeting, we had requested that we get some more information back from them. Christie had reached out to them and don't see. Yeah, no, I saw, I mean, there was email traffic between Christie, myself, and Paul Timmons at the jail about this. And there was a follow-up, whether the information that Christie had told him, which her recollection was that we wanted, he wanted to know if I thought there was anything else, and I responded back that I thought her email covered it. So they were aware, I guess. They're just not here.
Was part of that requested information the inquiry into the investigation / audit that we were told started in May, then we were told they had
Yes.
started.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did anybody check? Maybe it's because the doors closed first.
Did you say if the doors are still open?
I was going to ask that.
Have not been there.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask because I wasn't at the trust meeting, but I was told that there were some indications made that were not really indicative of what our group was talking about. Just to make it clear, if I was told that it was said that this group agreed with them, that's why we added the dollar amount onto the watch list, because we agreed that they were going to need the money. That is by no means why that got on the agenda. Is that, am I speaking incorrectly here? Yeah, that for the record, was simply you think, just like Rick, you brought the 425,000. When it comes down to it, you may need that 425 and this group may not recommend it, right? It's just on the watch list as hey, guys, keep in mind, we may need this. That's all that list is. And to have any type of indication that we've made a decision that you're going to have 425,000 or whatever else is on the watch list right now, that the CARES audit is going to have $500,000. No, this is just a tracking just in case document.
So you said you weren't there. I was on vacation, so I missed all of it and I'm not quite up to speed yet. But who purportedly said that? Is it the staff that indicated that they would be broke by July 31st? Is it somebody, do you know? I mean, the same group of people that sent out a press release saying they'd be broke by July 31st?
Yeah, I was under the impression
I need to
that,
watch the meeting.
yeah, it was Mr. Timmons is who I was told made that. And I've gone back and watched it. And, it was,
And then it was in the press. and-
Yeah. and I don't, maybe it was a misunderstanding. I thought we were clear. But that was an inaccurate statement. Absolutely inaccurate. So there were other problematic things that were said in there as well, but I definitely wanted to make that abundantly clear. Well, first of all, I want to make sure that that was everybody else's impression around the table as well. So. All right, well, let me check my email real quick and see if I got anything from them. That maybe there's some big emergency or something that's keeping them away.
We don't have to wait on
I do not have anything, so. All right, I guess no update on item 4. Item 5 we covered. Item 6 we covered. Looks like that finishes out our agenda. If there's no motion to return to any other agenda item that was already discussed, go to citizens participation. Anybody sign up to participate? Seeing none, board comments. District 2? Clerk?
No.
District 3? Done. District 1? Treasurer?
Nothing.
Court clerk? Assessor? Sheriff? And none from me. Any new business? Seeing none, is there a motion to adjourn? There a motion, do we have a second? We have a second. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. We're adjourned.